countdown to handover ceremony. What these incoming administration should learn from the outgoing administration, taking a look at strides and all that in course of the discussion, will delve into the arrest or detention, yeah, that's the right word, detention, of top government officials of Edo State by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. It's all about the countdown to the handing over date. With me here in the studio, he was one time a local government boss, yes, that is of your Southwest local government, and is into politics, into, you know, a non-governmental organization. Also, join me to welcome Honorable Destiny in Abulile. It's a pleasure to have you join us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
All right. So very close to him, he is a legal practitioner, yes, and of course he is into agriculture full-time. When you get to here, he's a little Africa, he knows what I'm talking about, a labor devotee. Join me to welcome Barrister Robinson Imade. Barrister, it's a pleasure to have you join us this morning.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning, viewer.
Put food on the table. You will not see or hear any of these things happening. A voice of the masses is into also activism, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Okoro Osahon Obaraye. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Wilson.
Right.
Good morning, viewers at home.
And all the way from the U.S. virtually, Ahmed Mamadou joining us via Zoom. Ahmed, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Good morning, Wilson. Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, let's put the show on the road. Let's take a look at this administration in this particular time. Some call it the twilight of Governor Obaseki administration. You've seen it read positively with, you know, commissioning upon commissioning. Now, people have been wondering what can the incoming administration learn from the outgoing administration. I want to start off with Honorable Destiny in Abulile, because we have just barely 2 weeks to call it a wrap on this administration. You tee off. Well, we're not playing golf, I know, just tee off the discussion, please.
Well, again, let me appreciate you, Wilson, and thank ITV management for yet another opportunity, you know, to interface with the good people of Edo State. You see, yes, it's at the 11th hour, and today is 3rd of November, if I'm not mistaken. What that means is that 9 days to go. There are certain things that you will not take away from this present administrations. The present administration of Obaseki led. You see, this administration, to some extent, has given a human face to governance in Edo State. If you look, for the past few days now, there have been series of commissioning, left, right, center. From Igoriaki in Ovia Southwest, the commissioning of College of Agriculture, Igoriaki, and the digitalization of the working system in Edo State. So for us, the PDP, we cannot say that we have laid the foundation for the incoming administration to build upon. A very solid one at that. Anywhere in the world, there are no perfect system anywhere in the world. So I'm not saying that Obaseki has is the Alpha and Omega, or is infallible. It's not. Even our Lord Jesus Christ. Today is Sunday. To some extent, it was his people that said crucify him, because they believe that there is no legal expectation. Hence, the call for his crucifixion. So for us, we must give it to Obaseki. He has laid the foundation, and I believe that the incoming administration will do the needful by, not to say hook, line, and sinker, but to some extent, about 60%, sustain over 60% of the foundations he has made. So for us, Obaseki, he came he saw. To some large extent, he conquered.
He came, he saw, and to some large extent, he conquered.
Yes.
All right, let me move over to Barrister Robinson Imade. He said the governor came, saw, and to some large extent, he conquered. You get to realize that sometimes in Nigerian politics, a new administration don't like laying or will I say, how will I put this word now, trying to start off the administration from the foundation laid by previous administration. Do you see the income administration continuing from where this administration stopped?
Well, it's going to be very difficult for me today because I know I'm sandwiched between two very strong politicians, and they will take their respective sides. But it's also good that I am in their midst so that I'll balance whatever sentiments they bring forth. Talking about continuity in governance, it ought to be the way to go. And I must say, it remained the way to go for the outgoing administration. A number of politicians will ask, what did he start and finish? To me, that's not what is important. What's important is, what did he do? He talked about Igweriaki. I know that school was established by His Excellency Lucky Minedion. We talked about the School of Health Technology. You talked about the School of Nursing and all the others. We talked about the Secretariat buildings and even the legislative arm that the man has put finishing touches to. That is a perfect example of continuity in governance. There are also rules that he touched. Yes, that is the way to go. Except that he talked about Governor Obaseki, giving a human face to his administration. I don't know what human face means in that regard, because much as he has done very well, I'll give him more than the 60% that his party person gave him in the area of infrastructure. But when it comes to human capital development, I think I'll score him very low. The reason is simple. I schooled and worked at the College of Education in Kiadolo, and I know that there were plenty of promises. In the first instance, the way the college was quenched, so to speak, was absolutely wrong. He, as I speak, did not terminate or retire the workers in the place. He just abandoned them. And when struggle started, I was a part of it. He, of course, gave series of promises through his process that they will be paid off, they'll be done, this will be done at the others. It was also rumored that the third tranche of supplementary budget he did this year was specifically for the college. And I speak with you, the people are still in misery. Nobody has been paid a dime. The same goes for the College of Education Igwebe. We're talking about human capital development. Also, when you look at this administration, very early in the day, he gave a shot to ameliorating the sufferings of the workers by offering to pay 70,000 minimum wage when the federal government was still grappling with 30,000. And other states were unable to pay 30,000. And I went through the records as to see how many people in Edo State were to benefit from the 70,000 naira minimum wage, because I know that since it came, there has been nothing like employment, good employment to the civil service. There has been nothing like employment even into the private, apart from areas where you need to generate revenue, like the IRS and the others. So talking about human capital development, I would score Obaseki very low, because he has even dealt with those he met in service. Otherwise, infrastructure, when you talk about infrastructure, he's done well, very well to my expectation, especially as he went to the hitherto moribund structures and institutions and gave light to them.
All right, I'll come back to you, Barrister Robinson Imade. Say for you, you're going to give him more than 60%, but for human capital development, you're going to score him low.
20%.
Jeez, really? Seriously, the civil servant may not agree to that score you're giving to the governor. Let me come to Okoro Osaho Obaraye. Because as it stands right now, in terms of digitization, Edo State is #1. and you get to hear about the new database connecting all government, all government segments and sectors in Edo State passing through a particular hub. And some are saying that should just be a kind of a hotspot for this incoming administration to have a grasp over, for them to know how to really make it of great benefit to Edo citizens, number one, and of course to the country in general. Don't you think the incoming administration should really cash in on that with regards to continuity?
Thank you so much, my brother Wilson. I think you can see that from the position of my very good friend and comrade Nabulele, and also the position of my father here, you can see what the Benin we call Uyembwembe.
Can you please interpret?
Yes, the issue has been settled already, because we've given score marks here, and none. If your child was to bring that result home, you won't be proud of that said child. All we've said here, and from my introduction, you can see that there was none that was able to put food on the table of the common man. And governance is not all about speaking English, long one. First of all, governance is about the people. And what will sustain the people is not about MOUs, digitalization, or anything. It's about the food on the table. We've spoken eloquently well. If we were in the classroom, we'll pass English. But I think we will not pass when it comes to starvation. The government also started MOUs on farming, mechanized farming, so many rice farming, this farming, this farming. And in all, that was called zero. And that is my primary constituency. Because if there was food, I'm not sure my brother in Abulele now will be looking gloomy even when everything is well. My brother, there's no food anywhere.
Are you saying he's hungry?
No, I'm not saying he's hungry. I'm speaking parables for him. Right. If we've left that angle and just face agriculture, the way we came, because I remember vividly when we were talking about the plantation at Meshira is different. If we face that one, I'm sure some of us will give him thumbs up. If we've also left that to say, okay, the roads we are going to construct, let's also continue on the template that we met, the likes of Memudi and Oshomole did. Let's go on that template, not the road we will construct, and in a jiffy, it washes away. I'm sure I will also have scored him right. If we also have said, okay, respect for the rule of law, I think I would have also said, okay, on that angle, zero. If we have said, okay, for the issue of the very just now, let us also speak about the traditional institution. Another 0 over 100. Let's also talk about also sustaining.
No, you're saying 0 over 100. Many will not agree to this comment of yours.
You must not agree with me, Wilson. You are fair.
Many will not agree.
You are fair and black. It's two different perceptions about life. That is mine. I cannot pretend. You saw a power ending a song with 20. That was magnanimous enough to say 20. If I also now reduce it to 10.05, it's left for me. And my brother scored 60. So
no. Let me get the record straight. I did not score. I said the incoming administration, to some extent, should have done what the present administration allowed, at least to 60%. I did not.
I will answer that. When something is good, you imitate it. When something is good, you imitate it. May my child or my friend don't go and imitate what is wrong. Because my child will say, those people that put that down their head, they are fine, and they sing very well, and they start doing it, I'll quickly say, no, I never did that. You must do things right. What is good is what you imitate. If we had also maintained the standard of what we saw at King Square, where the realization center, I'm sure the one we were building at Iyama will not have cost us much. Zeroing that one down to say you want to bring up your own was not good for governance in continuity. So we must tell ourselves the truth. Now it's another person's turn. You are saying the person must continue on your sphere. It's not a must do.
Are you saying that they shouldn't pick on the good part of this administration? Let me just say right now.
Listen. The good part, I will also come say it. I will not lie to you. You can also not know happy employment that was not done over 7 months and 7 years and 12 months ago. Now you are going, employment is being flying around, backdating employment letter. Then you want the government administration to come and receive that one to say, okay, let's go. That one is not also done. Now as we speak, it's the facts are there that 24 billion naira came before now, and the movement of 10 billion was unknown. The facts are there that we kept the books that we wanted to see for days on how the government has spent money. And when you notice that nothing was coming, it opened up, and we noticed that over 1 trillion plus has been used. Does this state look like a state where those money passed through?
I'll come back to your bar.
Yeah, thank you. So we must tell ourselves the truth. I'm not saying the government that is coming has a way to, he has promised his people. So if he does not fall in tandem with the outgoing administration, I don't see them forcing themselves to say, you must not continue on where it will continue.
All right.
Must we continue on the Edo best that was not the best for our people?
I will come back to you. Because like what Barrister Robertson said, they said, thank God I'm at the middle. I'm not to balance up everything. It's getting heated up already. Let's move straight down to the U.S. where Ahmed is standing by. Does it not mean that there is nothing good about this administration that the incoming administration should carry on with? Ahmed, over to you.
I want to be as generous as possible and say the termination of the administration is probably the best thing the administration will bring. Because in the 8 years of that administration, what can be said about what has been developed? The initial promises were 200,000 jobs, a new dry port. They were talking about health centers in all the local government areas, jobs for the youth. And then they keep talking about paying civil servant salaries. What is the percentage of the civil servants in Edo State that paying their salaries is going to be such a monumental task that needs to be repeated daily and on and on and on? Some of these claims are simply ridiculous. And then you talk about infrastructural development, where specifically they keep mentioning that Edo Best, something about using tablets to study and all the rest of that. My question is, what is the infrastructure that all these things are supposedly being built on? Where is the hub? Where does the traffic come from? Who is controlling it? We've never heard or seen any of these things physically. They talk about things that nobody can point out. And then you mention even human capital development. What is human capital development that this administration is going to let go of, that somebody needs to pick up on? Practically everybody that started out with the administration is no more there. So what is the human capital development? What are the indices? At this point in time, this should be a reflection of the things that they found and what they have improved on. I need somebody to point out some of those items so that we can have this discussion from there. The gentleman that spoke first said a new administration should inherit the things from the past and build on that. Tell us those things that have been built
now
on.
you
so
just hold on. Let me come to you. Now, what about Edo EMS? Talk about human capital development. Let's start from there. Edo EMS, emergency service. I've tried that number a couple of times. One hand, they responded. I don't think that should be built on.
Okay, are you
I'm asking the question because you said we should itemize it. So I'm beginning to itemize some of these things that this administration had done. So take it up from there. Let's start with the EMS.
Let me add to it.
I'm the one asking the question. Destiny, hold on. Destiny, hold on. I'm the one asking the question. So let's start itemizing them. Edo EMS. Let's start from there.
Let me ask you a question back. If you call Edo EMS in Auchi, would there be a response? Benin is not the whole of Edo. To restrict something to Benin doesn't mean you have covered. That mistake that Benin is Edo is very wrong. You can go to the south, the middle, the Edo Central and call EMS. What would be the response? What will be the response when you move further out? Look, we need to keep telling ourselves the truth. If you want to rate that administration and you give it 15%, you've been too generous. One of the best examples of how there was no continuity is the fact that that administration inherited 20 billion that had been held back by the previous administration when the roads that were built by Oshomole was paid back to that administration. Why didn't they put that money back into roads? All that they did in that period of 8 years was to make signboards, this is not a federal road. I mean, come on. What are we talking about? We need to tell ourselves the truth. The incoming administration has a lot of work to do. And the truth must be told that we will not allow this level of deprecation, of maladministration and incompetence to come out again.
All right, I'll come back to you, Mahmoud. Well, you talked about itemizing them. I started with the EMS because I've tried those numbers a couple of times. They responded swiftly, but he said if you go to other areas, the story might just be different. So since you are here yesterday, I think you should itemize some of these things that you feel that this ICMA administration should continue, because that is what those state citizens are expecting, scrapping up of everything. Some are saying, they say no.
Yeah, Wilson, let me again appreciate you and thank the management of ITV. You see, we must set the record straight. I said it earlier. I said there are no perfect system anywhere in the world. And I will use our Lord Jesus Christ to illustrate my point. You see, in the era of GIS, Edo GIS, you are aware, within few days you can get your C of O. The area of primary healthcare, the PHC, there's a PHC centers equipped with solar across all the local government, the 18 local government. There's one in my local government, which is in Ward 2, at Okada Junction. Across. You even mention of the EMS. You see, they do best. I listened and I listened to my brother. I listened to one of the sister stations, one of the national sister stations yesterday. They use Edo as a reference point. The Edo best, which some other states of the Federation, they are trying to emulate. So for us, and for me, I'm not surprised. Even when they put Barnabas and our Lord Jesus Christ, the people prefer Barnabas. The people prefer Barnabas. For me, I'm not surprised.
Destiny, please, let's not go scriptural, please.
No, today is Sunday.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm being inspired. You see, for me, I'm not surprised. That is why you can see the way I am now. My spirit is a little bit down, because when I looked at certain things, you see, governance, especially in Africa, you see, there is a saying that education makes people easy to govern, but difficult to manipulate. You agree with me that, with utmost humility and simplicity, it is difficult to govern because, to some of us that will believe that we are educated, I think we are far from it. Very far from it. There is a fiber optics across the local government, networking of the local government, as we speak very just now. As I have said, no government can start a project. My learned and my common friend here will agree with me, and finish the project. Government is continuing. That's why I use the word as some of the achievements or what he had laid. The incoming one will at least absorb or abduct up to 60%. I did not score him, because if I score him, I know definitely I will score him over 70%. Yes, do what Barrow has rightly said. It's like that all over the world, all over. If I use the scriptural. So for us, you must not allow our hatred or maybe our political inclination to becloud our sense of fair judgment. That is the gospel truth. Look at the infrastructure. We talked about the start. If not the state government that pegged the wage bill, the salary for 70%, perhaps by now the federal government will have said, okay, let's have our battling be within 50-60%, 60%.
45.
Thank you, sir. Even 45. So for us, we must give it to him. I'm not speaking as a PDP person. To some extent, you agree. So for us, we must give it to Obaseki. Yes, there are some areas of deficiency. That is known. I've said it in the open, I've said it in the secret. That is just his person. So for us, to some extent, I think that our collective patrimony, the collective patrimony, to some extent, have answered some of the critical questions, and I have solved some of the problems for us.
All right, all right. Well, Barrister Robinson Imade, it's like from what Ahmed talked about and from what Barry talked about, is that there's little or nothing to continue with what this administration has done, but destiny differs. Now, can you please pinpoint some of this area you feel that the incoming administration should sustain or continue with?
Well, for me, I had said earlier that if I were to score Obaseki generally, apart from human capital development, I'll score him over 70%, and that's the truth. I stand by it. Talking about even the Edo Best, Lagos State government came here to borrow a leaf on how Edo State did it. If you talk about the Edo GIS that you talked about, I'm a legal practitioner, is almost my second home. There's a sharp deviation from the rot that used to be there, especially after the appointment of Mrs. I here. I respect her so much. You now can process your C of O without going from table to move your file. If you look at governance in general, the man has done what most governors would not even know how to do. Go to most government offices, the idea of having to give money to people to scout for your file is not there, it's digitalized. It's strange to most Nigerian governors and administrations, so we won't appreciate it. I think the problem of Obaseki had was believing that everybody would reason like him. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who is extremely bitter with Obaseki, said the man is not approachable. I said, why? He told me that even the gentleman, the politician that he gave job to the son, wanted to see him to go thank him. And the man said, no, don't thank me. I don't need to see you over this. I gave your son a job because he deserves it. We're not used to that kind of governance in Nigeria, especially also in Edo State. So Obaseki has done so much. When you talk about not being able to, not encouraging the incoming administration to follow suit from what he has done, if you go to our courts, at a point I stopped going to court because you go there, you could hardly breathe. Everywhere became sanitized with air conditioners and all. The same thing with the offices of the civil servants. We didn't have to build another secretariat as some governors would have done, but he gave a facelift to most of the infrastructures he met on ground and institutions he met. His failure, in my opinion, centers around the tertiary institutions. The college of education that he brazenly and without deep thoughts gave to the federal government free of charge. Whereas he had the Ovia forest, the Union forest, the Igwebe forest to have given to the federal government to establish the Federal Qualification Technical. He gave, that premises he gave to the federal government is worth billions of naira. And no thank you came from it. So Obaseki has set standards which I think the incoming administration should follow. But my brother here mentioned something that is very germane, that in the twilight of his administration, he's giving 400 people jobs in the teaching service. Why now? Why not last year? Why not in the last 7 years? Those are issues. But like he also said, nobody is perfect. If you say nobody is perfect, who wants to be nobody? The truth. Good question. Who wants to be nobody? The truth of the matter is that Obaseki has done very well. He was able, in the last 7 years, to garner unto himself a lot of enemies. And to him and his supporters, like this man will agree, it is because he believed that government money. You know I will agree. It's not you I'm talking about. I said this man. It's not this man. The law. So for me, the man refused to share the money, according to him. And everybody, most people are angry. There's no food on the table because the man believes that government money must be spent on government projects. Whether this is true or not, we will see. When you talk about he not handing over properly, whatever, the handover committee is not an audit committee. The incoming administration has unfettered access to all the documents, all the things that this administration has done, and could be probed. If Obaseki gave no shishi because he wanted to spend the money according to him for the people of Edo State, then when the time comes and the breeze comes, according to our people, the powers, whatever,
thank you. I will come back to you,
in the interim,
yes,
from what we are saying and from what he's saying, Obaseki has done well, except that it was unfair to a good number of people that worked for him. I'm not talking about politicians, I'm talking about the civil service and the tertiary institutions.
I will definitely come back to you. Okoroso Obare, I know you are deep in thoughts, picking all their opinions and views. Are you not saying that there's nothing? Like what Abamodu said, he said there's maladministration. I'll soon get to him shortly. You mean there is nothing that the incoming administration can borrow a leaf from this outgoing administration? Is that what you're saying right now?
It's not a must to borrow. I've told you, it's not good to mimic what is bad.
You mean everything is bad?
I say it's not good to mimic what is bad. You cannot force in all or not all. I get it now. It's somebody's prayer to be better, to your son to be better than you. But it's not also now also be prayerful that when your son never give you peace, you now also pray for him. You now also tell your son that your child will do to you what you've done to me, not to tell him that you'll be better than me. So it's our prayer that this incoming administration will on its own draw a path to follow. It's ready for governance, because there are things you don't do politically. We are not in a boardroom here. It's not a private institution. Politics is about people. People and people. People come first, people come second, people come third. So when you want to do it and the people are not involved, whatever you do is zero. It's not a military administration where we just wake up this morning to say from now henceforth, University of Benin will move to, no. You
don't think you are a bit too harsh?
No, not too harsh. I said politics is about the people, for the people, but everything is people. So if we are in a democratic system and the people are not involved, whatever you do becomes zero. Because it's not a Tea Party game. You need the people, and the people need you. So by the time you finish and you say the people are irrelevant, whatever you do becomes irrelevant. No matter how good you paint it. The person that is well fed is the person that will say the third road you've done. An hungry man cannot see whatever you've done. The pace of Nigeria today is not because Tinubu is not, it's because things are more expensive and nothing is longer on the table. So even if you decide today to say you want to give them like 24 hours, it's of no use to them. Don't let anybody try to paint anything we want to do here. Because anything we want to do, food must first of all be on your table. If you skip breakfast this morning because we were running to make this program, if you go home, you are going to face it. And if you miss it, say come back in the evening. If you come back in the evening, you will not be well composed because no food. But if there is food this morning, I have to quickly take beans and dodo this morning, so I have strength to talk. So if there was no food, my brother, if you can see me shouting, I will say this place is hot.
Maybe that's
maybe that's why I'm not shouting. Yeah, so you can see, my brother, we must tell ourselves the truth. Whatsoever don't concern the people is irrelevant to the people. No matter how good you paint it, we must tell ourselves the truth.
We see, when he see,
He never interjected. You react. He never interjected when you were talking, so lying.
Is this the type of government you say we should imitate? A government that don't allow somebody to talk. Are you getting it? That you can see. It's not, this is he has been talking, I kept mute. Now I'm talking, is interjecting. Then you want me to now say the incoming administration told the same parts? No.
But he has stopped talking.
No, even for him to try it at all, goes to tell you the type of government you want us to imitate. It's simple. Not life is not all about speaking grammar. I'm telling you, it's just happening here now. That in a government we are not able to talk then the next government should come, we should also be quiet. When policy is about the people, when it's now 4 years, election is coming, you give SSAs. The after the election, you scrap it up. When you know those SSA, they are people. I've always told you, my brother, politics is about people, and people are structure. So by the time you say people are irrelevant, you don't have structure. No matter how you want to speak it, Wike is still having shadow in Rivers today because of what he did as a governor. Your people. Not the flower bridges you saw there. If it was the flower bridges, he cannot fight back again. He still has the people. Tinubu controls Lagos. No, he has the people. It's not about writing. I speak to you today as we still sit down here today. My big brother, leader and father, Chief Lucky Osaka Igbeneghu, is still relevant politically more than the president Abuja is living now. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Because the people. You cannot say you know it all without the people. And you're not going to now govern the people.
All right.
Then you say the people, who is scoring now? Is it animals that is scoring? Or one me, I don't see person who resemble motor. Now this man resemble this man they see. Don't they say this person resemble motor? If resemble wood, no.
But you not resemble.
All right.
So if it does not concern the people, Wilson, it's of no use since we are talking about democracy.
All right.
So human capital development, by the time there is no food on the people's table and we are on a political discussion, it is irrelevant.
Thank you. I will come back to you. Well, let's get straight down to the US where Ahmed Mamadou is standing by. Ahmed, are you now saying that all the achievement gained by this administration should be uprooted and the incoming administration should just start from scratch? You mean there's nothing for the incoming administration to continue from?
I'm not saying that. The facts speak for themselves. I don't have to say that. All you have to do is look around you. I'm seeing a montage behind you of Ring Road. Ring Road doesn't look like any improvement has been made on it in 8 years. Imagine what Ring Road was when it was taken over 8 years ago, and look at what it is today. That speaks about the standstill that Edo State has come to in the last 8 years. Now, it seems like we might need to remind ourselves of some of the things that we are talking about. The political culture in Edo State has been decimated and brought to near comatose. For 4 years, this administration was running budgets in and out without a properly constituted House of Assembly. You had, I think, 16 or 17 members of the House of Assembly that could not bring input. They were duly elected by their constituents to come and represent them. This administration was running budgets. Now, mind you, cast your mind to what is going on in Rivers State. The High Court, even up to the highest courts, have said you cannot be running the budgets that are when the House of Assembly is not properly constituted. Constitute the House of Assembly properly, present the budget, let everybody have input. We had this administration run for 4 years without a properly constituted House of Assembly. And then you are talking about building on what? So the constituents of those areas, what do they know has been done in their own regard? The other gentleman mentioned health. The central hospital was demolished to build what? What is in its place? How effective, how affordable is the replacement of the health services that this administration has put in place for the people of Edo State? That is the primary question. You are talking about the GIS services. You see, the problem we have with particularly our political class is elitism. They believe that their own problems translate to the problems of the common man on the road. It is totally wrong. How many people are interested in proper landscaping or mapping of their property? How many people in Edo State is that their own problem as they wake up and face the challenges of life? If we are talking about Edo Best, the deceit that is Edo Best will be brought to bear when a new administration comes in and a proper audit is done. I will ask one simple question, and I hope somebody will have the facts to prove me wrong. Name one project that Obaseki or his administration started from greenfield and brought to fruition and brought properly for the Edo State people's benefit, apart from elitist projects that have no bearing on the life and times of the Edo people. The health services, how affordable are they? Who is using them? It's run by consultants right now. Nobody is able to afford those things. So we should tell ourselves the truth. Whatever it is that the new administration needs to do to bring back the trust, there's a social contract that has been missing. The people have been neglected for the past 8 years. That social contract needs to be reestablished. Let the people believe that government is for them, is for their interest. Let them come out and say, this is the money that we've gotten, this is how we've spent it, and let them point out those projects one by one by one. Until that is done, we cannot be talking about what they want to inherit or who needs to give to what, because there is nothing to show for any of these things. How much money has this administration received since it came? Nobody is able to tell you, but they will tell you in excess of trillions of naira. Where does that money translate to physically in Edo State today? That is the primary question. Where does it translate to? All these things, all these castles in the air that people are building and talking about, they have no consequence to development, infrastructure, or the population of Edo State people. So let's be focused on some of the things that we are saying and make some of these demands realistic and realizable.
All right. Okay, he asked the question, this administration, what have they started from green grass to, the topmost top to fusion? And you wanted to react to what Okoro Salabari opined, so you have the floor now.
Let me again, thank you. I can't stop by thanking the ITV management. You see, Okoro said something that I'm a little bit disturbed. That's why I refuse to see myself as a politician. And by the grace of God, I am not.
You are.
I am not. I'm just a participant, active participant. There's a difference between a politician.
But you're one time a local government
boss. That doesn't
boss.
make me a politician. See, that's where we are getting it wrong. That it doesn't make me a politician. Because I was one time a council board does not make me a politician. Because there are so many intrigues. That's just by the world side. You see, you made mention of my senior brother, Chief Lucky Benedict. I knew for very short. I was already an adult. It was in this state. The politicians stole Lucky Benedict at the Obaseki Stadium. You see, I can't, you see, my spirit is down. I know why my spirit is down. Today, it's very down. Because I've looked at everything. I'm an history student. I have my master's, so I have looked at it. Very long and in-depth research and survey. You can't please them.
You can't please the people?
No! The politician, quote and unquote. You will agree with me. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If not this administration that is bringing our elder brother to the limelight. At the point the administration before him, call him names. That they should crucify him. I'm happy now that he's saying that he at the time was a Messiah. I'm happy. He made mention of talking about the people. Yes. But the human ones are insatiable. They are. You see, we must look at it. We must balance it. And my comrade friend here will agree with me. We must balance it. Otherwise, you are at your own peril. You are at your own peril. To me, as I have said earlier, and I believe, and I know for sure, I'm not a spokesperson that Godwin Obaseki led administration have led to some extent to a certain, very commendable percentage. We must give it to him. Whatever another person says, and an average Nigerian, an average Edo persons will agree with me to some extent. I have said it. I said there are no perfect system anywhere in the world. Why do some of us do research and make references to some other works? Because we believe that we have discovered that the research before me has XYZ deficiency, and now I want to build that. That's why we do research. For you to say that you can't mimic, so it is laughable and it's political. It is quite sad, it is disheartening and regrettable lugubrious. To be very sincere with you.
Calm down.
You see, the issue is this. It is very straightforward. That's why you see, I never hope to come to this level. my friend from the US said something about go to Igoriahi. You don't say that it's from the scratch. That's my local government. It is from the scratch. I challenge anybody. And today is a world class college of agriculture. And my comment father here will agree with me to some extent. So for us, I said it earlier, we should allow our hate, because I hate Wilson. Everything about Wilson is zero. It's wrong. The precedent, we are setting a very bad precedent. That when we look back, say, how if I had known? You see, I think it was Pastor Martins in his first they came. See, when they came for Wilson, I'm trying to use you, nobody speak for Wilson. When they came for my comrade friend, nobody. Until when they came for ITV, and there was nobody to speak for ITV. We must look at it. We must be very fair to our people. We should not allow our political inclination to becloud our cognitive reasoning. You see, there are two things you don't play politics with: the security of your people and the governance of your people. You can't afford to play politics with it. So for us, for the incoming administration, I don't know, but I want to plead with them. Whether you like it or not, there are certain good aspects of this outgoing administration that you must look, cross the T's and dot the I's, and run with it. Obaseki inherited some policies from Adams Ali Oshomo, of which he was part of. He inherited some money and he built on it. There's nothing to stop this incoming one, whether the result of the same party. So that's why we are getting this party politics or party administration. It's affecting us seriously. Government is continuous. The outgoing is our collective patrimony. The incoming is still our collective patrimony. So you must endeavor. You don't just jettison whatever in total to say that because they will belong to PDP. Now, no, it's not APC money, it's not PDP money. It's a those state collective patrimony. And it's more used judiciously.
Wow. Interesting. Well, Barrister Robinson, you are in the middle of all this. It's like anyway.
I am praising up. The truth of the matter is, when we talk about the people in politics or in governance, I begin to wonder whether the people means the political class, the politicians.
Thank you very much.
In my opinion, it is not the politicians. The politicians,
thank you very much.
Once, like he said, must and remains insatiable. I'm talking about, I stressed that the area of failure, in my opinion, of the outgoing administration is in terms of human capital development. Let me put it straight. Igoriaki was not started by this administration from the scratch. It wasn't. It was a school established by His Excellency Lucky Benedion. It was running. There were students there and there were teachers when the Obaseki closed it down and they went to court. But he has come back to transform it. You see, talking about Lucky Benedion, yes, he was stoned. Yes, the people of Edo State thought he didn't do well. Like Ambrose Ali, in 1982, it was all over the place that even the frogs, in the toes, the frogs, the gutters were shouting, Huali, 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 Huali. Today, we are saying Ali, yes, I was a practitioner then. I was very active in the youth wing of the UPN. And people sang that the frogs, and I listened to the frogs when it was night. They were really sounding like Huali, Huali, Huali. But Ali is a reference point today. And if you talk about Lucky Nosaka Benedion, during his administration, since 1999, Lucky is the only person who has paid the most attention to human capital development.
That is the gospel truth.
Because the truth of the matter is that I was recruiting people for local government under his administration. And Ogiadome, his deputy, was in charge. The first crop of PHC coordinators, the first time they appointed doctors, 18 of them for the state, I recruited them. And Lucky's administration witnessed weekly training for the civil service and for the local government, weekly. I was almost entirely in charge of the trainings for the local government. And it was done weekly, different local governments. Since then, I'm sure that he also recruited for every local, he encouraged the local government chairman to recruit people, and I gave orientation to them, some 100, some more at a time. But after Lucky, the spate of employment of people stopped.
But still, some people were not happy with this administration.
Exactly, that's the point he made, and I agree with him. It stopped. Neither Oshomole nor Obaseki paid attention to employing people. Even when Oshomole led the Nigerian Labour Congress. Tell me how many people were employed in the 8 years of Oshomole. Tell me how many people have been employed in the almost 8 years of Obaseki. If you put them together, they won't be up to 50% of the people that Lucky Igbenedion employed.
It's a gospel truth.
And at the end of the day, what we saw in Lucky Igbinedion's era was they didn't do roads. I know he did the Igun Street and the Spare Parts Road, short distances you will say. But those roads are still better than all that Obaseki did and all that Oshomole did. Yet, the human beings have food on their table, borrowing from my brother. So, but talking about whether or not the incoming administration should jettison all that Obaseki has done, that would be the beginning of failure for the incoming administration.
Thank you very much.
I agree that nobody, like he said, it's not compulsory that they follow. But if you don't follow, you would have locked up the money that would have been credited to you. For example, when Lucky Igbenedion was leaving, the fruit juice company in Eho was there, the Casavida company somewhere in Uromi was there, and so many, about 4 or 5 companies that he started, because he came from a business background. At the end of the day, when the next administration came, he forgot about all of those things. And the time came when he came on television to say, look, I'm going to Abuja tomorrow. I'm going to EFCC to report my predecessor. Later, he set up a committee and said he was going to look at the expenditure, the state of these companies, the fruit juice company, the Casavida company, the whatever, many of them. And he came on air, I saw it, to say that those companies were 70% completed. 70% completed. And you couldn't complete it, rather they were sold out. Neither did the next person, what's his name, Obaseki, the current person, do anything about them. So in my opinion, unless administration is a continuum, unless incoming administrations from successive administrations see something good in the predecessors and decide to say, okay, I'll build on this, we'll begin to be moving in circles, motion without movement. I will encourage the incoming administration. Nobody is forcing you to follow hook, line, and sinker what your predecessor has put in place, but there must be areas that should build on in the interest of the people. The people here not meaning the politicians, but the citizens of Edo State.
All right, Okoro Sorobaye, we'll just start commenting our dissent on this segment, but I was thinking that when we talk about digitization, this is new to Edo State. You have some persons in there they've been organized and maintaining it, make sure that Edo State is #1 in terms of digitization. I know you're going to say, does it translate to food on the table? Let's put that aside. I don't think that this administration that is incoming should at least look into the aspect to see how it can translate that to food on the table. That is just one aspect.
Thank you so much, Wilson. Thank you. I think it gives me joy to see we talking like gentlemen, and I'm so happy. When I say the people, I'm not talking about politics. My brother here is more political than I do.
But listen
now, it's more political than I do. Are you getting it now? I have not held any political position. No, you can't run away from it. No. It's a political office. You cannot be a stranger in ITV here and say you're not a journalist. You're saying it's a partner. No, you're a politician. Me, I'm not. Are you getting it now? I'm a party person.
This segment.
So we must tell ourselves the truth. The truth remains, when I talk about the people, I'm not talking about politicians. I forbid it. I'm a very plain person. Who are the people? Me. You look at the people. You know the people. If the people are happy, the politicians are of no value. How many percent are the politicians? How many percent when I talk about people? When we talk about people, we know the people. We are just trying to shy away from it. Is it the politicians that eat the leftovers at airport that do tell you? Do you see them there? How many people are the politicians? You buy face cap for every 4 years. And those are the people. When we talk about people, talk about the market women, the bus drivers, the artisans. We know the people. We are just trying to shy away from it. Do we campaign to politicians during election? Is it all the people we campaign to that we will do this, we will do that? Will you come and tell my party president will come and tell me this is what you want to do for me? No, now I already know. But we move from there to go and talk to the people. We promise them this, promise them that. At the end of the day, we sideline those people. Give them triple ticketing. Manhandle them and don't longer answer the people. So when the people are answered, the politicians they are irrelevant. Because those are the people we meet. On election day, in a unit, politicians that come to vote there are not to 2-5% of the people that will come and vote. So why we talk about why we to say they is satiable, this one is satiable, because you know that you are talking about the politicians. We are not talking about them. And nobody you will say to really just want it big if you answer them. You can hear a person when you have listening ears. That is even the people enjoy it more. If I call Wilson on Monday, Wilson does not answer. On Tuesday, does not answer. On Wednesday, Wilson does not answer. It's of no value again because maybe on Monday or Tuesday, when I wanted to have an issue with you, it was more paramount to me. A government that does not give face to the people is of no value to the people. So don't let us change it. I'm talking about politicians. Never. I'm talking about the people that we may talking about the people. If we leave, then where are we going to meet the people? We are here talking because of not because of him and me or Epa. Already God has done it that we know our way to move. The people that don't know their way are more, so many that we keep talking to every 4 years. It is high time we really answer them. And what are we going to do to answer them that are only table? How come things are expensive in Edo? It's truly the farm, all those mechanized farming is working here. There are things we should say to ourselves that are true. If truly things are really working here, how come we go to the north, go to Lagos, go to all this center to buy bag of rice to Benin? If there was a rice farm in Benin, that is for the people. How many politicians eat? Then also go down. Okay, the issue of ticketing, I keep saying, people shy away from it. But I'll tell you, because we live on the street, that the bus drivers, they've never paid from their nose the way they are paying now. Even the market women that sell a bododo, they pay more ticket now than before. If we listen to these people, it will be more freer for us and better. Not we, not me. We know the people we are still discussing about. Who are we supposed to serve? Is it the politicians? No. If the politicians say bring money, give the people money. Let the people. If the people are with you, nobody can be against you. Nobody. So me, I'm not shying away from you do this, you do this. My bottom line on my people is the people that has been neglected. We are speaking English now to say this one has done that, that one has done this, because it suits you and not suit the people. Thank God for the correction of a power. A simple question yet to be answered. What was done from zero to nothing was done? And the one that was just a power to say, no, it started here. I can see that it was also the reactivation that was done. So me, I'm not trying to quarrel.
Hold on. Listen. Of Edo State, isn't that from the scratch?
Forget all those scratch issues.
It's from the scratch.
No, but he said it's not from the scratch.
From the scratch.
For that one, it's highly disputable. But
all the structure to pull down.
Hold on.
All the structures.
My question now was this.
We can take a drive down to look at it. Right now, we're sponsoring it.
Yesterday, hold on.
That were in place. That's what
it was already dilapidated.
And yet there were students and they were...
now. It was a
glorified secondary. Calm down. Gentlemen.
He did not.
We are eating into Obaraye's time.
We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. That determine the structure.
We are eating into his time. But hold on now. Obaraye, I say you were talking about the people, aside the politician, the people, and of course you ended by saying that there's nothing started from the scratch. And I was asking this question: what about the digitalization of Edo State? Is that not from the scratch?
Listen, you see why you can see that I will never interject somebody. Because I have my words and my point to pick. When you don't have your words, that's when you try to pinch it. No. It's simple. That's just the truth. I get it now. Because it's so painful when you are trying to, you can see now that the stress to guide somebody that was not with the people. It's so stressful. I get it. You have to say you are calming down, you are doing this. If it is easy to support a government that was with the people. You will be so relaxed. I get it now. Now it's giving you more stress and time to think, to act, and you think you are thinking somebody is telling you to no, not be that place. So that is, we say God, thank God. One thing is sure, sometimes let's just, as we sit here, we will play back our old videos. We'll go back to archive and play old video. When I congratulated PDP then, close to 8 years ago, I said if I don't leave here on time, the 8 years will meet me. I said so. I said if I don't leave, we say let's close this program, so I'll leave for the 8 years to come. And today, it's closed. And we don't also leave here on time. These other 8 years will elapse. So now it's time to address issues. You know why I'm happy? I'm happy because the incoming are seeing that the people are relevant. So whoever jokes with the people, we suffer the wrath of the people. So you don't need somebody to judge you now to say, we see if you do this way. No, don't do this way. I'll wait for the people. The people are now more sensible because you drag them into politics. They were not involved before. 1999, they were not involved. When we were doing snatching, it was easy for you. Now the people are involved. They follow you, monitor you from 200, everything, monitor you bumper to bumper.
All right.
Since they are involved now and you don't want to get things, the people are not asking for much. It is the government that is at table.
All right.
Not the people. Because the government gets money. I get it now. Security vote in last billions or so. And you don't want to make sure the people are okay.
Thank you.
Security, you can also share from your own to say let the people be happy.
Thank you.
If the people are not happy, there will be peace nowhere.
Thank you so much, Okoro Sahobare. Well, to cap up this segment, yes, let's move straight down to US to wrap it up on this segment. We have Barrister Greg. He really wants to share his own opinions and views on a particular discussion and some other discussion. Well, as it stands right now, we've spoken at length, but something new just emerged. You're going to have a minute or two to comment on this, each and every one of us. The harassment of our Attorney General and, of course, some other officials in the outgoing administration. Ahmed, what do you have to say about this?
Accountant General.
So some of these allegations have been unproven, but the general fear is that there has been massive looting of government property by members of the outgoing administration. All of it is very unclear. Some of it seems to be hearsay, some of it seems to be based on fact. But the matter of fact is that, like one of the gentlemen out there pointed out, this is our common patrimony. So all of us should be watchful and everybody should be paying attention. If any of this malfeasance is going on, it needs to be reported and let the law enforcement agencies take the appropriate action without calling for any kind of mob justice or victimization of anybody. Now, let me quickly hark back to some of the conversations that we've had. I asked for a project that was conceptualized, designed, executed, and commissioned by the outgoing administration. Nobody has been able to say anything in that regard. Now, let me give you a simple example of why I say elitism is the problem that we're having. In the period of the 8 years of this outgoing administration, there have been, I think, 3 or 4 major market fires. None of those markets has been rebuilt, in spite of all the several promises that this administration, they went there several times to even campaign. So the market women at a point in time were turning their backs on them. There have been the demolition of those markets. None of them was rebuilt. And guess what the answer to these market damages was? ShopRite. Is that not elitism? How many people in Edo State can afford to go to ShopRite? So some of these things that we are talking about, we need to be factual in our presentation and we need to be honest in our conversations. You cannot be a member of the political class, having held political office, and say you are not a politician. Who does that? Stand up for what you... Tell us what you have brought for the Edo people. Tell us your own input. Tell us what you did that other people can come and continue from. We've been talking about what the new administration is supposed to inherit. Look, digitalization has come to stay. Nobody is going to mess with that. Talking about digitalization is a waste of time. Talking about things that have come to stay is a waste of time. The things we are talking about are daily bread issues that this outgoing administration has laid a foundation for the incoming administration to build on. And those things you cannot point at those things. That is the simple truth of the matter. Somebody mentioned agriculture. What is the basis? Where is it going to? What is on ground for them to come and say, okay, on agriculture, this is where we are going to move forward from. Healthcare, where do you start from and say, this is where we are today, and we are going to move forward from here?
Thank you so much. Well, that is our last line on this discussion, because I'll come up with a second discussion. Well, Destiny, you have just a minute or thereabout to comment on this, the harassment of the Accountant General, right, of Edo State, and of course some other officials by the EFCC. Like what is said, there are reports of looting, reports of mismanagement. That is the reason why the EFCC choose to clamp down on these persons, specifically detaining them. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, Wilson, let me again appreciate you. For us, or for me, I think for me, there's nothing new, because I already saw it coming. As one time executive chairman of Obaseki, I passed through the process, so it should be expected. There's nothing new, but the only thing that I'm not comfortable with is holding them. Because the state, whether you like it or not, even if it's just 2 hours to go, it must run. And for a state to run, it's not with water. It's not with blood. It must run with our collective patrimony. And the persons or those persons that are supposed to make sure or facilitate that it's run, they are the ones in Abuja. They're holding them back. That's the only area I am not comfortable with. For us, or for me, administration, 4 years, I was just 3 years in office. At the end of the 3 years, I was invited. I was interviewed, I was interrogated, I was investigated. For me, there's nothing spiritual. It's the process that must follow. Having managed the collective patrimony of the people, you must give account. If, quote and unquote, that the inauguration committee cannot ask the question and get the answer, then perhaps it is now in the doorstep of the EFCC, perhaps to ask the question, maybe they will get the answer. Right. For them, it's a speculation, an allegation that XYZ, you understand, that it's not the turn of the government in those that is presiding our collective patrimony to answer the questions by way of crossing the T's and dotting the I's. For me, there's nothing new. Right, the only thing I'm not comfortable with is holding them back beyond the stipulated, because when they're supposed to run the state.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, Barrister Robinson, over now to you about these arrests, or not arrests, detention of top Edo State government officials.
Well, there are two things. I don't even know why now, because there are two information out there that they took out of 20-something trillion.
22 billion, 24.
24 billion, 10 billion has been withdrawn or thereabout, and that ought not to be the business of the EFCC right now. It ought not to be. The EFCC, and the other one says, okay, they took loan, agric loan, and they have not paid. And the state government has come out to say, we took the loan, yes, but we have paid in full. Whether we like it or not, the EFCC is either being overzealous just now, or it's making itself a tool in the hands of politicians. Either way, the EFCC will not come out of it unscratched. So it is wrong to scuttle or come at the twilight of this administration to ensure, like he said, that no money is withdrawn, governance is in comatose, governance is halted. And it is yet to be seen how the FCC will explain this. Are they tools in the hands of opposition politicians, or are they just being overzealous?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Robinson. Put food on the table. Okoro Sahobarai. What do they say about this?
Yeah, those that took the what is supposed to put food on our table should go and answer the reason why they did so. Are you getting now? As we speak, my very, very close brother, Honorable Inabulele, is in government. He was not invited by EFCC presently. So because if your hands are clean, not clean, will EFCC come and invite you, we are usually involved. We are forced seated here now. Somebody just come to say, Thief, hold on, and move first. Will you not ask me to say, why are you moving? Are you get so we both ourselves the truth. Jesus Christ said to those that wanted to stone the person, he said, for you who have not seen, throw the first. So if you know you have not done anything, go on. You are supposed to even be happy. You are supposed to even tell them, come on, I'm going because on the 13th I want to leave. Come and ask me any question now. They'll tell you, okay, we'll not get question, go, or come and answer question. Instead of you to say, it's Wilson that is pursuing me, this one that is pursuing me. Why are they pursuing you if there is truly nothing that you are in for? So we should allow EFCC do their job. Oh. And I've not seen anybody they say that EFCC kill them before. Are you getting that? Words that come to words that you go to court and exonerate yourself. EFCC is not even the last port of call. Are you getting it now? So if they are not so satisfied, they can come and meet a barrister. Obviously, to help them ask the EFCC why, and also ask for their bail.
Thank you. Well, you've heard them. They've spoken their mind. Yes, some are for the opinion that the income administration should borrow a leaf or two from the outgoing administration. They are saying it's not a must to borrow a leaf from them, that they have their own plans. So that's how you know there are some good things in this administration that the income administration can expatiate on or even, continue with. And I was thinking, since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can take someone from the opposition vis-a-vis some Wike and made it the minister of Federal Capital Territory, I believe that if you look deep inward into the administration, there are some key commissioners also that can work with, the income administration. Hey, calm down. Nobody should stop me. I'm just saying this.
You said something.
Yeah, because there are some good commissioners that really did a wonderful job. We can borrow a little. Okay, fine, continue for now. Let's understudy. It is campaign after all. Project Edo is for everybody. Forget APC, PDP, Labour, NMPP, whatever, IPP. Is for everybody. You are the governor of everybody, irrespective of political divide. If there are some good things you feel you can pick up from this administration, please do. Please do, because those states will be better off, okay? EFCC arraignment, EFCC detention, EFCC answering. Just answer your questions and just come back home to your family and, of course, to your state. But it shouldn't be, they should not be detained till 12. That's the rumor, shall we hear that it's going to be till 12. It's not that cool. How will the state run? How will the state really run? Anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on today's show. I appreciate a wonderful analysis.